It's been a while, huh? The last time I made a video on Dead by Daylight was over 2 years ago, and you probably noticed I've kind of had an identity crisis on the channel. Yeah, it's been a while. I haven't been uploading because, I've been busy with life and I kind of got lazy. But, well, I'm back. I'm back, everybody. The difference maker's here again, and I'm doing something a little different. As you might have been aware, Dead by Daylight just did their PTB, and they did a dev stream talking about all the changes coming to anti-tunneling and camping and slugging. And everyone's done their videos on it, everyone's given their 2 cents. Well, not anymore, because pennies are now abolished as of the last week or this week. Now, I'm going to do something a little different, and I hate to say it, but all those YouTubers that are in that thumbnail, I'm sorry, but you're wrong. I'm going to be the only one that's going to speak up on this, but I don't agree. I'm sorry, but you're all wrong about this update. Everyone's saying that this update will kill Dead by Daylight. This is the worst update ever. Killers will die. Guys, we've said this now for 9 years. You said the last update was going to kill Dead by Daylight, and the update before that, and the update before that. It's like a fucking broken record at this point. And the worst part, there's a huge bias that I've noticed, and it's not the bias that you may think it is. Every fucking video that I've seen is just nothing but killer mains crying, complaining that the game's dead, the game's so survivor-sided. No, I'm sorry, you're wrong. Like, I'm not saying the update's perfect. I will get to the update soon. I'll get to what happened with the changes. But every video is just a pure echo chamber of just killer mains crying and playing the victim and just pointing fingers at everyone except anything. And I know behavior isn't perfect. I get it. Behavior can make some stupid decisions, but people forget a lot of stupid things and they say stupid shit. So for example, it really pisses me off when these people make these videos saying that the game's dying, and then all the comments are like, wah, wah, the killers get nothing. They always nerf killers. So, like, are we just ignoring how they gutted fog vials after 2 weeks and Clown did not get nerfed until a month and a half later when he was brain dead easy? And let's not forget, they took an already A-tier killer, Krasu, and buffed her even more and made her like the second best killer in the game. I know she got nerfed afterwards, but she's still strong as fuck. And before anyone says I'm a Survivor player, just because of the gameplay in the background doesn't mean shit. I played more killer since the fucking beginning, back in 2017 when I first got this game. It just pisses me off when I see these videos and everyone just says they don't care about killers, and they always bring up that stupid fucking survey that appears on PC because it doesn't bring up killers. And then they bring up the whole survivor thing. Now, oh, there's 4 survivors and 1 killer. Again, why did they nerf those fog vials after 2 weeks? Why have they nerfed most of the survivors' shit? And I get it's overpowered, but to make it out like killers get nothing when killers have been getting nothing but buff after buff for these past years is complete bullshit. This is what pisses me off. And then I see these content creators fucking say this, and then every person on Dead by Daylight says, they're right. Guys, listen to Otts. Listen to these guys. They're going to save the game. I'm like, you treat them like the fucking messiah. Otts Darva is just a fucking content creator. He is not the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. He's just a content creator. He doesn't work on Dead by Daylight. Just because they know about the game doesn't mean they know how to fucking develop and work on games. Anyway, that's my rant on them real quick. I'm going to go over the anti-tunneling changes because those are the meatiest of them all. And I'm going to discuss some of the points that one of the YouTubers made because I heavily disagree with it. So the big changes that came with anti-tunneling is that so now when a survivor is unhooked, they gain 10% haste, endurance, elusive, which is a new stats effect that pretty much just gives you off the record, and lucky break. It hides the grunts of pain, blood, and scratch marks. You don't make any coughing or vomiting sounds, like if you're infected by Nemesis or Plague. You get no AFK crows, and you see the killer's aura within 32 meters for 10 seconds. Now, uniquely, the aura is now white, because now it doesn't hide from undetectable. So if you're undetectable and they unhook near you, they'll still see your aura. And the effects will last for 3 seconds if you're fully healed, or if you do a conspicuous action, they will all go away. This all lasts now for 30 seconds. Alright, not bad. So you pretty much get more protections from the unhook. My only problem with this is that 30 seconds is too long. I feel 10 seconds would be perfect. You get 10 seconds to get away, you see the killer's aura, it gives you all the time you need. I feel 10 seconds would be fine. 30 seconds is just a bit too long. Then the killers, this is where I don't agree with this. I will actually say I don't like this. Killers, when they don't tunnel, if they hook a survivor and then hook another survivor, they get Bloodlust 1, which is 0.2 meters a second faster. So pretty much you're 5% faster when you hook someone unique. That is not a lot of speed, and if you use your power, it goes away, which I get what they were trying to do. They wanted to buff the lower tier killers while making Nurse and Blight not affected by it. But a problem is that Ghostface, if he turns on his Shroud, he loses his Bloodlust. And if Trapper puts a trap down, he loses the Bloodlust. And Wraith can't even ring the bell or else he loses the Bloodlust. And this is where I feel they overcorrected. I feel in the last update that the haste was actually perfect. The 5% haste only on Nurse, Billy, Krasu, and Blight was perfect. And then the 10% on Ghostface and Trapper were great. And I get why they changed it because of furtive chase, but that's the thing. They could have just went back to that update. But here's the problem people have. People say this is why the update's survivor-sided, because killers get nothing. And also, I forgot to mention the blood point bonus, but it's kind of worthless, honestly. But they mention that, killers get nothing while survivors get all these buffs. But here's my thing. Weren't you guys asking for this? Because a big problem for years now was that anti-tunneling can only be fixed by perks. See, back in the day when tunneling, there was no borrowed time base kit. You had to get unhooked and hope someone ran the perk. The big problem was band-aid perks. Band-aid fixes, to be precise. Instead of just fixing the problem internally, behavior was like, you don't like tunneling? Just use borrowed time. Just use decisive strike. Just use off the record. Instead of just fixing the problem, they just put band-aid perks. I hated that because I hated how I have to just keep running these perks just to stop one problem. And I feel with them making the perks base kit, it really helps because I can take away the perks now and run more perks that I couldn't get to use. But they don't like that. These people complain, why give survivors all these boosts, all these stuff? But yet you guys complain about these perks and band-aid fixes, and now I get it. They can nerf the perks later, and to be honest, they should have nerfed the perks. But to complain like this, you're all fickle. You know what you all are? You're fickle. You fucking asked for all this, and when behavior actually does do it, you complain and say they're the worst devs. I'm like, no. You don't get to fucking memory hold this shit. You guys asked for these perks to be fixed and to solve the problems. They're solving the problems, but now you say it's not good enough? Like, are you fucking kidding me? And then you have fucking Hens, who has the fucking audacity to say that you don't understand this because you're not a top level player. Why the fuck do you need to be a top level player to fucking understand this? Like, you do realize that fucking not everyone is a competitive 1,000 win streak fucking killer like you piece of shit. Fucking people, I'd say 80% of this game are made up of casual solo players. And they get fucking tunneled out of nowhere. Why can't they get the fucking help? Why can't they get the fucking help that they need? I get it could probably buff Survive with Friends, but not every game is a Survive with Friends. Because according to the stats, it only makes up a tiny percentage of the whole fucking game. And the fucking say that fucking you need to be a top talent just so you don't get tunneled, that's bullshit. And I feel that behavior, what they're doing with making these bonuses base kit instead of having to run perks, I actually like that. I don't think that's a bad decision. Now, to be fair, the killers could use more bonuses, and I get the double standard argument that they said there was too handholdy for killer, but now it's not handholdy for survivor. I get it. But to say this lie and this bullshit that fucking this isn't going to work and that survivors will still quit and still give up, and saying that you have to stop pandering to these survivors, we're not pandering. They're trying to fix the game so that solo players and people that just log on without thinking can just play the game and just have fun. Because remember, this game is about one thing, and people forget. What's that again? Oh, fun. It's about having fun. And yes, sometimes the game gets frustrating, but that's what they're trying to do. Anyway, I don't like the change for the killers on the unhooking. I feel it should go back to the old ways with the base kit pop or base kit regression in some way. That's my thoughts on those changes. I'm going to go to the perks now because the perks are more important. To be honest, I'll give you my quick thoughts on the camping and slugging changes. I don't mind them. I think they're fine, honestly. The slugging and the camping changes, I feel are fine. They don't really need to be changed that much. They could reduce the range on the handicap meter, but that's fine. Slugging's fine, you know. Everyone complains that they're not solving the problem. It's like, bruh, I feel the issue's fine with slugging. The measures they did was good. All they have to do is just nerf Unbreakable and just nerf some of those perks, and it'll be good. But let's get to the perks now, because that was another discussion they had. Alright, so getting on to the perk changes. The first perk they changed for the killer was Furtive Chase. Pretty much, they went back to the original version of the perk and made it to where each time you hook the obsession, you gain a token, and it decreases your terror radius by 10 meters. People overreacted, honestly, with this because they thought it went back to the original version. They forget one thing. The original version of the perk only decreased your terror radius while you were in a chase. This does it at any time. And it can create some funny moments, like Blight, for example, since if you hook the obsession 5 times, you get a 50% decreased terror radius. You could be fucking running around at 230% speed with only a 20 meter terror radius, and Dracula can be going with a 4 meter terror radius. That is scary. I actually kind of like it, but I get what people were saying, that they don't like how they reworked the perk, and I could honestly see them now. I will say I agree with this. I could see them just going back to the original Furtive Chase, but just decrease the haste to 5%. I'd say just decrease the haste to 5%, then add the other 5% base kit when you get unique hooks. And honestly, the perk where you get the decrease every hook, that could be a new perk or rework one of the old perks, like another YouTuber said. I actually, I'm mixed on it. Like, I love the idea of having a fucking 20 meter terror radius as Billy and Blight, but I can see why people were upset with it. But that's overall my thoughts on Furtive Chase. It's not an awful perk. It's not the worst change they did. It's not even the worst perk change they've done. But that's it for Furtive Chase. The Survivor perks, however, they changed Babysitter, Borrowed Time, Breakdown, Off the Record, and Wicked. Babysitter, since all of their effects are base kit now, all it does is when you unhook a survivor, you see the survivor and kill Zora for 30 seconds. It's actually very good. The new Babysitter is very, very strong. But I will admit, 30 seconds is a bit too long. They could just reduce this down to 15 seconds and it'd still be good. It'd still be a very good perk. But that's it for Babysitter. Very simple change, but it's very strong now. Borrowed Time has a completely new effect where now, instead of just increasing endurance, it now will make it to where when you unhook someone, they can now recover from the dying state for a minute. So pretty much, it gives you the Unbreakable effect, but you get it for 100 seconds when you unhook that survivor. They had to give it a new effect, and this is honestly a great change. I like it because Borrowed Time was pretty much very redundant at this point. Why use the perk when you just have it for free? It was a waste, so it has a utility now, which is nice. Then there's Off the Record. All they did was just increase the duration back to 80 seconds and remove the endurance. It's pretty pointless, honestly, but it's already base kit anyway. Moving on. Breakdown. People are very mixed on this one. Mint Skull has a huge problem with this one, and I'll just be the one to say it. I don't agree. I think this perk is pretty good. It's fine. It's not that overpowered. Pretty much, they reduced the hook broken timer to 90 seconds, so when you get unhooked, the hook will break for 90 seconds, and the survivors will heal you 100% faster for 90 seconds. So it's pretty much a reverse will make it, where instead of you unhook someone and you heal faster, if they unhook you, they heal you faster. It's strange. It's like they pretty much took will make it and reversed the roles pretty much. Mint Skull says they took the most annoying perk and buffed it and made the slugging even worse. No, I'm sorry. The same people said Blood Rush was going to be meta and shoulder the burden, but that never happened. Breakdown will not be meta because the hook is only going to be broken for 90 seconds. And slugging, if you have to slug someone for 2 minutes, that's not good. Like, come on. You're going to pick them up at least before the hook timer hits 2 minutes. for the resolve threat to happen. And I just disagree with Mint Skull. The final perk that was changed was Wicked. This is a big one. So pretty much now, when you get unhooked in the basement, you will get 50% of your healing progress back. And it has a cool bonus, which I like. It will suppress the loud noise notification. So instead of it revealing where you are, it will silence it, which that's a cool change. That's actually a unique buff to the perk. The thing I see people saying is the combination with Resurgence, because it is stupid. When you unhook yourself, you get 100% health. So if you get unhooked, you get all your health back, which is insane. But there's one detail people miss out. It only works in the basement. Only basement hooks. By the time that happens, it's not going to work because, first of all, if they run to the basement, you don't have to hook them there, just bring them back upstairs. But if they keep going down, just keep downing them because they're wasting time. They're not doing generators. That's why I don't think it's that big of an issue, because they're not working on gens. They're wasting their own time. And once they're on the first hook, that's it. The perk doesn't work anymore. But they're going to revert it, don't worry, because they're not going to push this blatantly overpowered effect to live servers. They didn't do it to corrective action. They're not doing it here. So stop getting your panties in a twist. They're going to revert it. And to sum up the Medkit add-on changes, the syringe could honestly go back to the original version, but just increase the healing timer to 60 seconds. 60 seconds would be fine, honestly, because it would be perfect timing for the survivor and they can't use it in a chase. And the septic agent, I'd say just increase the efficiency to 33%, so that way you can heal yourself and you don't have to waste charges just to get more heals. That's what I would do. And overall, that's pretty much everything with this update. There is more changes like the pinhead changes and the skull merchant changes, but I'll talk about those another time, honestly, because they're pretty minor and I can probably make my own video on them. But I just wanted to make this video to point out that even though that people have good points, it's okay. Like, I'm not saying don't have negative opinions about behavior and the game. Like, if there's a problem, you point it out. But I am so sick and tired of this fucking standard to where when a content creator says something, all of a sudden everyone is saying the same thing. It's like one big echo chamber of how like they have to follow the leader. They always parrot the same shit that these content creators say, and it really fucking annoys the shit out of me when this happens. That's why I had to call this out, and I don't mean diss on anyone, but I simply disagree. I don't think this update is actually bad. People saying that the last one was bad and this one's even worse. In the last iteration of Anti-Tunnel, because if you killed someone and you weren't tunneling, you weren't allowed to kick gens or regress them. I feel that's even worse because it really sucks that if you tunneled someone out indirectly, you can't fucking regress gens, or gens can't even get blocked anymore. I don't know why people say that this update was even worse and said that fucking they didn't learn their lesson, where for one, you guys complained that the penalties made it too harsh for killer and too hand-holding for survivor. Now there's no penalties and you guys still complain that it's too hand-holdy and that they only care about survivors. I'm like, did we read the same update? Did we read the same thing that you guys read? Because there's no penalties anymore. Yes, the bonuses are not the best, but come on, you guys fucking can't just say this shit and expect me to say something, because come on. I'd rather have these changes like this and get them live instead of having it to where I can't kick gens or regress because I indirectly tunneled. That is so fucking stupid. I don't agree with this at all. But I think we'll be getting some changes coming because Behavior have already announced that an update will be coming to the PTB for the next release, which is coming at, I believe, the end of the month. I hope it addresses some of the things, but my video was just made to say that I disagree. This isn't the worst update in Dead by Daylight history. It's not the worst. There were worse updates than this. But I hope you all enjoy. I will be back when they do the update, and you know the drill. Hit subscribe, hit the silver bell, yada yada. I'll see you next time.